Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Guru Sri Muji Baba ki Jai. My master says that I is a chameleon eye. It is a chameleon eye because it can represent many things. The usual representation for I is that I am the body, or I am the body mind. Sound is too soft. Thank you. Should be sorted now. The better now? So this I, because it can point to various things, as represented for most of us, has represented the body mind. So much so that even when you are recognizing that you are not that, there can be an idea that I, as the body mind, am coming to this recognition. I personally am coming to some insight. This can be the motion. But it is not that. It is consciousness itself which has played with delusion and now is playing with recognition. So many times it can happen that when we are experiencing suffering and we want to answer this question, but why am I suffering? Then we try to use even the concepts of satsang to get over our suffering, to answer the why am I suffering? If I have seen this, then why do I continue to suffer? But who does the I represent? Even in this, who is recognizing? Ask yourself this question. Who is recognizing the truth of who you are? Does it have anything to do with the identity? Is the identity coming to the recognition of the self? Or is the recognition itself not that? There is no identity. Therefore, the notion that if I have seen the truth, then why am I suffering? Itself is false. Because that which is seen the truth, that which is recognizing itself, is not suffering. So, in one statement, we mixed up two I's. You see, the self recognizing I and the sufferer I. And we are trying to resolve this contradiction. Therefore, when I say that who's in this for truth's sake alone, it is not some sort of a prediction that suffering will continue to come or joy will not be there. It is to break away this concept that Advaita pointing should be personally beneficial. Because these can be the last vestiges of the personal I. Even the insight of freedom, the insight of truth, the limited sense of I, this mind can try and use to resurrect itself. And herein lies the contradiction. Because in your truest seeing that there is no personal I, there is also no suffering. And yet, that cannot become an expectation, you see. Because that expectation itself seems to then become the finger that blocks the sun. You see? So, simplest is not to hold on to any notion at all, especially any notions about why. I've been joking about this recently, saying that many who are saying that they are tired of the inquiry are also inquiring why, why, all the time. You see? So if you're tired of the inquiry, first drop the question why. Come to the question who. Or if you don't want to come to who, it is okay. Remain empty. This is the truest power of now. What is the truest power of now? Is that in this now, you are empty of all your conditions. All the project that you could have picked up to try and come to the truth is already done for you. I don't know how to convey this actually. I'm trying to give it to you as the best news possible. Okay, let's say that you attended this course in college, and the entire 2 years of college or 3 years of college, you didn't study anything at all. Yeah? Didn't study anything at all. Then, last day before the exam, you see, you're trying to study, but you realize that it is just too much. Then you say, no point. It's all in God's hands anyway. So you show up to the examination hall, and you get the answer sheet, and you see that it's already filled out completely with all the right answers. Wouldn't that be the best news ever? So this is the power of this now. That all that you thought you would have to do to find this freedom is already done for you already. And anything you add to this answer paper will only deduct your marks. You feel like you want to add one but over there, and if, but only if something over there, then you just losing marks. Not too literally, okay? Just metaphor. That is what is happening. Everything is done, it is complete. You're getting full marks, passing with flying colors. Yeah? But the mind wants to insert its two bits. I also studied. I will also show. God has done everything for me, but I want to show that I also contributed to my freedom. So many times in satsang, this is what is happening. No but, no and, no if. Now the mind will come and say, are you sure this is the right answer? Because you've not studied, you see, so you can't even make out whether the answers are right or wrong. Is this it? Isn't it? It sounds funny, but this is exactly the doubts that come. Then somebody comes, dressed like a guru. Says, yes, this is it. Yeah. But are you sure this is? Are you a true guru? So this is the nature of Dharma. So one day you will see that anything that you mix, anything that you mix with the mind, you quickly come to zero. A zero, not in a good way, zero. Like 0 marks. The other trouble is that some of you have studied too much. So you're unwilling to accept that all that has to be done is just here naturally. Then you want to write, no, no, I will write the better answer. But it is still not that. That which is naturally available is your own presence, your own being. And it is so apparent to you that you are aware of it. Not a step you have to take, not a letter you have to write. So when I say don't be attached so much to my way, it is the same as saying don't be so attached to your concepts, your answers. To many of you, actually, I've been saying also that you're trying to figure it out, but it cannot be figured out. Because you cannot solve this empirically using the insight you have through your senses. It cannot bring you your absolute self. You cannot resolve this as a rationalist. You cannot reason your way to the truth. You can reason your way away from the false to a great extent. And in that way, reason is helpful. But to drop this identity of the one that is looking or the one that is reasoning also is beyond intellect. And if coming to freedom was a task for any of us to do, nobody could do it. Is it? If coming to freedom was like a scientific discovery, then nobody would find it. Therefore, it is called a recognition of what is. The answer is already here. You cannot even say it is blowing in the wind. Yeah. The wind is blowing in the answer. Did nobody get my Bob Dylan reference? Yeah. Getting too old. Truth is neither too difficult nor too simple. It just is. So in this exam, the blank answer sheet is the best answer. Yeah? So what are you going to fill in? Because the question is, I am dash. I am blank. What are you going to fill into this blank? The mind will always have an answer for you to fill something, some version of something. Okay? Something. It might even be saying self, self, self. Yeah?
Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing, nothing. But neither of those answers are actually right, ultimately. You see? Because even behind these can lie a concept. The self that you are is completely apparent when you are not filling the blank with something, or the self. That, that you are nothing is completely apparent when you're not filling the blank with even the nothing. Often I say that if all that has happened in satsang is that we have replaced the concept I am a person with the concept I am awareness, or the concept I am the self. You see, then it has not been a fruitful satsang. Empty of all concepts. Beloved Father, sometimes you take us on a ride of emptiness where even I do not exist. How is that related to what you say now? I say that when you are empty of all notions, the truth of I is apparent. Okay, let's take an example. I shared this the other day also with a reference to death. Now, this glass has a potential to contain something. Okay? So, this one contains, to some level, this water. Okay? And the rest of it is empty, isn't it? The rest of it here is empty. But does that make it nothing? No. It doesn't make it nothing because in nothing, you don't have the potential to hold something. You see? So, although it is filled with no thing, it is still possible to fill something in it. Therefore, it is not that nothing. If it was nothing, it could not hold anything. Nothing cannot hold anything. You see? So, as you empty of all your notions, you see that you are no thing. No thing exists in this. But this no thing still has the potential for this entire play of being and all the appearances that come with it. Who can understand this, what I'm saying? If it was nothing, then could it ever hold something? Is the rest of this glass nothing? Then the question is, why do you say that you are nothing? There is no you or I in this. It is just this. Yes. So either this is something which is being recognized by you, or you are just making it up. And if it is being recognized by you, this is the you that I'm talking about, which is nothing. You are right that there is no separation, you and I there. But that's why I said this I is a chameleon. It is used to describe many things. Yes. So I am nothing. That nothing which contains all things. Yes. So Jyotima makes an important point. So it is like saying that you are not void, but fullness. Yes, it is that way. But many call this ability, potential to have fullness within itself, they call it the void. I've seen many times in Buddhism, what they're saying is exactly what we are saying in Vedanta, but their terminology is different. So some actually say void implying nothing, really, but some actually say void implying nothing also. So it's a question of terminology. So let's not get too worried about that. As long as it is clear that this nothing which I'm pointing to is not the nothing. And also remember that it is not spatial. I've just used the spatial metaphor to explain it to you. So it's not like an empty glass or empty room. It is just showing that in that no thing, all things arise, including your very existence. And all of this is apparent to you completely when you're not believing something false about yourself. Right now, you are that nothing. It is not a mystery. All the clues are pointing to this. The sages have asked, what witnesses all that is changing, all that is moving? What is aware of your existence? If it was that nothing, how would it be aware? You see, it's nothing, like nothing. So I prefer to use the term no thing because it is not a thing. Now you cannot fathom this. You cannot solve it mentally. You cannot compute what I'm saying. This kind of saying can only happen in your recognition when you have. And even then, you will struggle to find the words to express this. Because the words are not meant to express the non phenomenal. They've been created as phenomenal constructs to describe our phenomenal experience. If you say that this nothing is not self aware, then you are still visualizing it. Because even to say this needs awareness. So if you see that you are nothing, who is aware that it is not self aware? That's why I tell you don't try to compute it. You don't try to figure it out. Don't try to visualize it. And don't be so much in a rush to come up with the answer. Because you come to these kind of false conclusions. What you're saying is that I am aware that it is not even self aware. That's why Babaji said better to keep quiet. Because that knowingness which I am speaking of is beyond all concepts of knowing. You only are speaking of perceptual knowing, conceptual knowing, emotional knowing, sensational knowing. What is that which knows all of this? Where does this knowing, all these knowing, where does it get the power to know? Rather, for the first time, it seems that picking up a thought or not picking up through resistance are both effort. Yes. So the question comes in the paper, what is your true position? Neither something nor nothing you can do. No position, no reference point, no start, no end, no up, no down, no birth or death. That in which all things are possible, and yet no thing can hurt you, can scratch you. That conceptless reality is yourself. Where all notions come to play, but no notion is you. There is no body, just a set of sensations. There is no mind, just a set of sensations. We have just used notions to define a collective of sensations. You see what I'm saying? Like body, when you say, what does it contain? What does the term body contain from your experience? Only these sensations that you're experiencing now, whether they are visual sensations or they're perceived in a different way, sensationally. What about mind? Another set of sensations. A set of sensations which are these energy constructs that we call thoughts, and similar ones like imagination, memory. But do they have any real existence? Is there something called the mind really? Nothing. Is there something called the body really? Nothing. It is just labels for perceptions, labels for appearances. What is beyond these appearances, beyond these labels? That's why the sages said, look for that which is not coming and going. Because we got so caught up in these labels, these notions of body, mind, which create this false notion of me. There's the me. Who's the me? even more abstract a notion than the body and the mind is the notion of me. Some vague entity which seems to be the owner of this body and this mind, but only this body. Just an idea, and not even a clear idea. It's a terrible idea in a way. So, who does I represent? How long will it represent just this bad idea of me? Is there anything which is real about you? And if there is something which is real about you, allow I to represent that. Is there anything which is timeless about you? Allow I to represent that. Is there anything which witnesses all things and yet itself is not a thing? Allow I to represent that. That is the only worthy representation. The changing feelings and sensations and pain and pleasure and desire and doing. All of this is in the realm of changing. Aman says, my experience of the body is just a knowing of some sensations. This seems very apparent. Yes. But it is not just the knowing itself. Is it? It is the knowing mixed with an interpretation of the knowing, mixed with the label, mixed with the notion body. If you did not have the notion body, the notion of body, then it is just what you say, the knowing of sensations, the knowingness, a natural witnessing of all sensations. And they will say, better refer to it as that, as I is a chameleon. No, but even that is not fit properly because many times I've seen in satsang that you could have a very direct insight of the self and quickly the mind comes and makes it that. Then your next question is, okay, nothing is happening to that, but what about me? So when you make it that, you presume a sense of distance from that. That is the trouble with the word that. That's why no word can actually fit this. You see, quickly you make it that. Yes, yes, Father, nothing is happening to that. I know you'll just say that. You see, but can we speak about me for a minute? But what did you just see? That you are that. So very quick we pick up the fiction of the me again, even if you represent it as that. that, this, I, all these words we can try. But we have to come to this wordless recognition. And then for some time you can leave the words to me. Don't be so quick to have the right representation. Get used to remaining notionless. I know for a while it can feel wobbly, but many of you are getting used to it. An example is coming. Yeah, I rarely drive a car. Very, very rarely have I driven a car. So, but still, when I'm sitting in front, in the front seat, in the passenger's front seat, many times it happens that when there's something like coming in front or something, my leg automatically like wants to break. You see? I don't know whether any of you experiences like this. So we have been like this passenger seat actually, we're pretending as if we are driving. Which way should I go, left or right? What is the right? Pretending to steer, pretending to brake, pretending to accelerate. Now, for a while, when we step back, when we remain motionless, we step back. No acceleration, no braking. You can feel a bit shaky. You can feel like when events are coming up in life, something you feel like I must pick up my driving again. You see? But allow yourself to wobble a bit, experience that shakiness a little bit. Then you start to enjoy the ride so much. Ah, I'm in Disneyland. I don't have to do anything at all. But if you keep thinking, okay, now I've learned this in satsang today, so how does it help me to drive better? How can I steer? Can I lead my life in the better direction because now I know something? You see, then it's again we're back on the driving wheel. Allow yourself to be empty. No, nowhere to go, no direction, no speeding up, no slowing down. Your gear is in neutral anyway since yesterday, isn't it? You remain neutral. Why all these driving metaphors come? It's time for silent sitting with Guruji. That Sahaja Express is now freely available to everyone for some time. Is it? Something we do.
1 month trial.
Yeah.
1 month trial.
1 month trial.
It's always been
So all of you are welcome to access that if you're new to that. Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai. Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki
Jai.
Jai.